Hello everybody, this is Keith Explosion. I'm doing a review on Destiny, the new game by Activision and Bungie. We all know Bungie from the Halo series, obviously. I waited quite some time to do this review, mainly because I wanted to let it all kind of soak in, let the experience most of the content. I've not done the Vault of Glass stuff yet. I'll probably do that this week, but at this point I've done pretty much all you can do as a single player or with a smaller strike team. The game itself really, if you want my opinion at this point, and this is kind of an at this point kind of deal. The reason being is they're planning on putting content out for this game for 10 years. Now, if this game ends up being an ultimate flop, that obviously isn't going to happen. They're not going to keep, adding gasoline onto, a fire that just won't burn. You know what I mean? They'll eventually kill that. At this point, it's still popular, though. It's pretty popular. I think that it could succeed. It's definitely not a flop in any way. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's a lot different than what it was explained to be. When Bungie first started rolling out kind of the idea behind this, which was a good year and a half ago, probably 2 years ago, maybe even the first time I remember hearing about it. I'm trying to remember, there was a code name for it at the time. I can't remember, but it was they made it sound like it was going to be a first-person shooter, World of Warcraft scope, sci-fi MMO, which it is not. It is a pretty big increase on anything, or a pretty good improvement or advancement as far as multiplayer experience on console, but it's nothing that the PC scene has never seen, and it's definitely nothing new for PC gamers. You know what I mean? It's something that console gamers are kind of maybe mind blown by. But if you've been playing World of Warcraft and EverQuest and big MMOs with big expansive universes, this is nothing new to you. And this is also a very obviously smaller version. There's about 5 planets. Only really 4 of them are playable. And it's essentially a big sandbox map where all the missions of that planet origin take place in that sandbox. So essentially every story mission you're doing, albeit themed differently, is in the same location. Some of these locations are pretty huge, though. Venus and Mars specifically are pretty sizable locations. Earth, not so much. Moon is pretty much the same situation. Earth and Moon are similar size, and they're considerably smaller than Venus and Mars. The Reef, you can't really play in that too much, so that I've seen so far. I could be wrong. It has a multiplayer 6v6 style mode to it called Crucible. There's definitely different modes within that. I think it's a really good idea that doesn't have enough content yet. I think that if this game was to have 5 times the amount of content, it could be gargantuan. The fact that they've only put out this much content, I'm thinking and hoping was kind of a test. They wanted to see what would happen. They didn't want to kind of throw all their cards out on the table, so they wanted to see how this was received. And Bungie's a pretty big developer, and they're known for doing the smart thing. So I would assume that Bungie probably knows. They only put out a little content. I know they have 2 expansions that are on their way. The first one's supposed to drop in December. I think they have to bring that up. They have to pull that date out and put it out a little early, if you want my opinion, because it's only been about 3 weeks since the launch of Destiny, and people are capping out. They're starting to hard cap light levels. Several people have completed all the content, and it's only 3 weeks. We still got another 2+ months before that DLC is supposed to come out, and during those months, there's over 11 AAA titles and several other smaller ones coming out in that time frame. They're going to lose people. Their attention's going to shift onto those other games, and they're going to head that way unless they do something, which the most obvious thing would be to release more content. So maybe they'll, break up, put out something, some world events, something to keep people playing that game and interested in it during the following months, because if you don't, that's going to be very detrimental. So, but anyways, without further ado, let's see some gameplay, and I'll kind of go over that. Maybe I'll have some talking points at the end or whatnot. Alright, so this is kind of the hub page where you kind of pick what you're doing. Tower is the central location hub. That's where you turn in your bounties and where everyone's at. Venus, Mars, Earth, Moon, these are your main quest, you know, base things. These on the side are the kind of what's going on, you know what I mean? You got your dailies, your weeklies, multiplayer events, stuff like that. Vanguard is your strike playlist, so this is where you'll have your main like mini raids. These would be the equivalent of like your 5-man dungeons. Crucible is the multiplayer aspect of this game, which is pretty rad. I'm not so into how it, you know, these are the different modes and whatnot, you know, deathmatch and the different, you know, setups of whatnot. I'm not really pumped on how it scales. I heard that recently that's going to change. They're going to patch that and kind of change it up so it's more gear based. You know, what's the point of having killer gear and then you go in there and everything just scales? So I realize why they needed to do that out of the gate, but at this point it's kind of like you need to get some leveled servers where people are kind of matched with each other and that kind of stuff. So this is kind of what one of the planets looks like. This is Venus. You got your strike missions, you got your story missions, your patrol missions where you can just go in and grind. Let's see here. Yeah, these are your story missions. There's a strike. Yeah. So you can go in and grind levels and grind for gear on the patrol levels. I'm kind of showing all of them here. The green ones are the patrol. The blue or the shield is the strike, I believe. Okay, so this is the loading screen when you're loading back and forth between places. Previously, they had said you were going to fly your spacecraft back and forth between the planets, maybe get in a dogfight or two. Didn't happen. I don't know why they took that out of the game or just decided, you know, maybe they'll add it, but at this point it is straight up just a load screen. You can change your ships and all that stuff, but all it really does is change the animation you're seeing on the load screen. No real point into it. So I didn't even look which one I chose there. Note the epic Halo music there. Okay, so it looks like we're on Mars here. So yeah, weapons, gameplay, graphics in this game, all amazing. Like I said earlier, if you watch the intro, it's just, there's not enough content, you know what I mean? Everything about the game is pretty rad. The music's amazing. How everything works is pretty awesome. This is your character screen, and you can see you can change your weapons. You can have up to 3, counting your heavy. You can choose different disciplines, or they call them subclasses, but they're essentially, you know, different disciplines of how you want to do. This is your gear. You got head, gloves, chest, boots. The one at the bottom is kind of an armband that shows, it's kind of like a reputation gain, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like in Warcraft, if you're wearing a tabard or of one or the other, it'll give you a little bit of bonus towards that reputation. That's the speeder bike. Those are amazing. Let's see here. These guys, you pretty much got a headshot them. If you body shot them, they just, not a lot of damage. So I'm playing my Warlock here. This is when I was still pretty low level, I think. Let's see here, yeah, and their heads just pop like watermelons. But they can take tons of, you know, damage, small fire damage. These other dudes, you gotta kind of hit their shoulder and they'll drop their shield and you can headshot them. This flashy thing to my right there is essentially a kind of small quest pickup. When you're doing the patrol missions or the bounties and stuff, they'll have you do, you know, hey, do 5, you know, quests in Mars, you know what I mean? So you go to those flashy things, pick up a quest, and when you finish it, another one pops up. They're all over the zones. Alright, pow pow. So as you can see, the environments are really... They seem really huge, but once you get into the nitty-gritty of it, a lot of these kind of, you know, there's nothing in the buildings. There's like this big hallway right here really goes to nowhere. Okay, here's kind of a... There's different materials spread without the zones too that you can kind of collect and use for, you know, different crafting things and whatnot, which is kind of cool. But again, not really, there's not many, you know what I mean? Like there's probably like 4 or 5 different things like that throughout the Destiny universe at this point. So background sprites all look really good. But like I was saying, it's just kind of it's a really bittersweet thing because the game does look so well, or so good, and then when you actually start to get it, you know, get into it, start exploring the content, a lot of things dead end. You know what I mean? There and the buildings, like you go in them and there really isn't much. You know what I mean? There's not a lot to explore, I guess, is what I'm getting down. Those enemies were the Vex. They're mainly robotic. They usually have kind of an energy source on them, where you can see kind of the sweet spot where to hit them. Looks like I got a quest going on here. Okay, so this is kind of a good example of what a lot of the quests are like. The quests are usually kill count, or this particular one, actually, I don't know what happened there, it just kind of switched. But a lot of them are you just stand in a certain area for like 10 seconds, you know what I mean? And it analyzes, quotation marks, the area, and then the quest is done. So quests aren't even remotely hard, in my opinion. This quest that I think I'm about to do here is basically you're killing through an area, and then at the end of it there's something you know, a button you hit, and then the quest is over. So, which would really be one of the more harder ones. Okay, so that supercharged ability there, that shows me that my main special has become available. So it doesn't look like I'm going to use out of the gate here. Yeah. Enemies are very, like yeah, okay, here's a loot chest. This has random stuff in it, generally crafting materials and maybe health or whatnot, but very reminiscent of Halo, which is, I mean, I don't know. I kind of expected it. I'm sure a lot of the rest of you did as well. Very, very much like Halo. If you notice, that guy's health bar was yellow. He was an elite, so they're a little tougher, obviously. They usually drop better gear, too. They'll drop engrams and stuff like that. I've actually farmed that guy before, because he respawns fairly quickly. More guys. That particular enemy, the Legionnaires and stuff, they remind me a lot of Gears of War, the Grunts or whatever the hell they were called. Who plays Gears of War anymore? Just kind of battling my way through here. I get those headshots. I preferred the scoped rifle. I mean, you can really set up whatever you want. Like, I generally run around with a scoped assault rifle, if you will, and then also a sniper rifle. For those enemies that are just hitting really hard, I can kind of back off and, you know, get them down a little bit. For the heavy weapon, I usually always use a real heavy machine gun. They just chew up anything. That's my heavy machine gun right there. I didn't have any ammo though. But yeah, they'll chew up literally anything. I mean, until you start getting to the raid bosses and whatnot. Alright. This guy's got a rocket launcher and a force field. That white bar above the yellow is his shield, essentially. So you got to get that down before you can even do damage. And this particular guy, that shield pops back up real quick. So you gotta really kind of do a crap ton of damage in a short amount of time. So I got one headshot that took his shield down. Try to get another. Oh man, line it up. Almost. There we go. So yeah, he dropped some, just some ammo. And then there's basically a button you hit. I don't know why I'm jumping out here without finishing the quest, but you get your ghost out and he analyzes and yeah. Maybe I'm just grinding. I don't know what I'm doing here. I recorded this quite some time ago, so I'm just finally getting around to doing the voiceover. I really kind of, I mean, like I said in the intro, I wanted to let it kind of soak in, and I have. I mean, right now we're, you know, past mid-October, and I originally, you know, recorded this, you know, at least, 2-3 weeks ago, you know, within a few weeks of it coming out, and it's been damn near almost 2 months or whatever it's been out. Pretty much everything I said in the intro, though, stands true. I mean, the game really, if anything, what I said in the intro has become more true. I noticed, you know, at the time when I did the review, I was kind of by myself in my review. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people were still high on the fumes of all the marketing of the, you know, Destiny, and they were still having a lot of, you know, fun with the game. Which it's a great game. Again, I can't stress that enough. I'm not saying this is a bad game. I'm just saying for what we were promised, we didn't get it. And also, there's not enough content. I mean, I got mid-light levels playing, you know, very limited amount of time after work within a week. You know what I mean? I'm saying probably collectively maybe 15 hours, which, I mean, I was putting 15 hours a day into Mordor. You know what I mean? And I still have not completed everything in it. I'm damn close, but I have not. So I think if someone hit this game super hard, they could do pretty much everything in it, less the Vaulted Glass in, you know, a weekend. So, I mean, but like I was saying, since, you know, there's been a little bit more time, it's been a couple months pretty much. People are really shifting. I've seen a lot of trade-ins on it. A lot of people are moving to the next great thing. You know, they're playing Shadows of Mordor, or they're, you know, playing, or really, you know, Call of Duty's, we're on the eve of Call of Duty. It's about a week and a half away, 2 weeks, something. You know, people are shifting into that mode, so they're forgetting about pretty much everything else that came out recently. So that's all kind of going on the back burner.
Well done.
The guy who does the voice of the ghost is a little midget on Game of Thrones. It took me like a day of playing this, so I was like, God, that is really familiar. I don't really watch Game of Thrones. The secret's out, but I mean, that show is so huge, it's hard to escape it. In my defense, I plan to watch it, but I want to wait until they're like all out and I can get them on DVD because I hate cliffhangers. So, same reason why I watch Walking Dead on Netflix and not, you know, weekly or whatever when it comes out. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting because I recognized the voice. But yeah, man, I'm just sticking in this area, farting around and killing these dudes over and over again. I don't know why. Alright, so here we are. I had to cut that last part short. It was going on way too long. I didn't realize I had stuck in one area just shooting the same crap over and over again. Here we are. We're loading. We're going to the tower. This would be the social hub. You know, this would be the capital city of, you know, most MMOs, where everyone kind of sits and, you know, turns in their quests and checks out new gear and kind of farts around. It's pretty cool. Again, not really that big. There's not a lot to it. You know, you can run around the entire area of the tower in literally under 5 minutes. You know, this is no Orgrimmar or Stormwind or whatever, where there's nooks and crannies everywhere and several different burrows and you know, interesting creatures all over the place, and you can fish in this pond, and you know what I mean? Like, there's not really any reason to hang out here unless you're just wanting to, you know, maybe mess with people, or I don't know. Unless you're turning in a bounty, or, you know, turning in engrams or whatever, checking your mail. I mean, you're really not here for any amount of time unless you're idling or whatever. So this is the main area. Obviously, this is where you spawn in. These are banks where you can put, you know, stuff that you want to save and maybe you don't have room on your character for. This is the guy that you, the cryptarch that you turn in your engrams. They have to be decoded. So it's kind of a roll of the dice. I mean, they're kind of hard to get, and then once you get them, you don't know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? So it kind of, I've gotten tons of purple engrams that have redeemed for blue and even green loot. So that's the gunsmith over there, kind of running around. Graphically, amazing. You know, like I've told so many people, I love the gameplay, I love how it controls, I love the graphics, I love the idea behind it. It's just not enough content. You know, I just really feel like there should have been literally about 5 times the amount of content. You know what I mean? I literally feel like I, you know, experienced 95% of the content within the first week I had it, and that was not even hitting hard, you know, just playing it after work. So these are what would be, you know, akin to like a class trainer, you know, one for the Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. And you go in there and they'll give you special quests and, you know, rep rewards and stuff like that. These are the rep reward guys for the multiplayer, Crucible, and such. So let's see, let's go up here. I'm pretty sure I run around and kind of show the whole shebang. That's the mailman. Over here is kind of your, you know, ship, I don't know what you call it, like ship bay, where they, you know, you can change what ship you want, and there's kind of some random dudes. There's a random rep guy over in this area too that you can build rep with and get special weapons and customization stuff. Down there, he's over there. There's a little bit more to that area, but not much. There's a, you can go down the, maybe I'm going back there. You can, nope. Oh yeah, you can talk to most of the robots that are just stagnant, and they'll give you kind of a, you know, map of the area. So this is it. I mean, at this point, what I've shown you just running around, we've seen literally 2/3 of that, of what the tower is. So I don't know. Really kind of blows me away that it just feels scaled down to me. The entire time I was playing this game, I was waiting for to feel like it opened up. Yeah, look at that background sprite though. This video really doesn't do it justice either. I mean, seeing it on a big HD TV, there's a lot of stuff going on there. You know, you can see little ghosts floating up and around the traveler, and yeah, it's really cool. The plant life all looks really, you know, real. Everything flows in the wind, and I don't know what I'm doing there looking at me. I don't know. Alright, well, pretty much I would say I would give this game a solid like 7.5. The content releasing could make me change my mind on that, and I'm assuming it will. I have since, you know, recording this, traded in this game, and got Shadows of Mordor, which is amazing. I'll be doing a review in the next day or two on that. But that said, I will probably pick this game back up when the DLC comes out, because I want to check it out. I'm really hoping that they do, you know, release a lot more content for this game, and when they do, I'll be right there to play it, because there's really nothing to complain about technically. This game is technically sound, it plays well, The controls feel really good. The graphics are amazing. The storyline is a little blah. It's interesting, but it's really nothing in the scope of sci-fi games. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan or Halo fan or just MMO fan in general, none of these ideas are really new. Yeah, so, but good game. It just needs more content is the bottom line. All right, see you next time. Hey everybody, this is Keith Explosion. If you like the video you just watched, please click the button below to subscribe or one of the boxes on the side for more videos.